Hello, my friend. So this video is just for you. One of the questions I always get is my thoughts on the keto diet, or people will say, keto isn't working for me. What am I possibly doing wrong? So as you know, I'm a certified health coach, but to keep up to date, I often take different courses. And right now I'm taking Dr. Berg's health coaching course. And if you don't know Dr. Berg, he's a good resource. He's here on YouTube, and he talks a lot about the ketogenic diet as well as intermittent fasting. So I want to briefly talk about a few concepts that I think people miss when they're trying to embark on the ketogenic diet. So when people decide to go keto, a lot of people get caught up on the macros. And if you don't know what I mean when I say macros, I'm talking about fat, carbs, and proteins. So a lot of people are trying to figure out what is the right blend. And if you've done a review at all of the ketogenic diet, then you know that it's typically said that it's a high fat diet with moderate protein and very low carbohydrates, which is true. But I want to talk about the difference between keto as a lifestyle versus keto for weight loss. Okay, because what happens to your body when you're going keto is your body goes into what's called ketogenesis, okay? And that just means that our bodies typically use glucose as a fuel, and we typically get that glucose from carbohydrates. So when you eliminate carbohydrates from your body, you don't take it in, then over time, the glycogen stores, or the sugar that you have stored in your body, you begin to use all of that up. And then when all of that is gone from your stores and you're not putting additional carbohydrates into your body still needs fuel. So what happens is your body starts to break down your fat. And in that process, it creates what are called ketone bodies. And those are elements that your body could use in the same way that it uses sugar, but it uses the keto bodies as the fuel to keep going. Okay, so at that point, when you're in ketosis, it just means that your body is running on those ketone bodies instead of running on glucose. So when someone is on a ketogenic lifestyle and they're very fit and they're very lean, they don't have a lot of fat stores sitting around, right? So when you hear about people putting like coconut oil in their coffee, or eating a lot of ghee or adding a lot of butter to things, they have to do that because they don't have fat stores. So they need to add all of that fat into their bodies so that they can have fuel to run on, in the same way that someone who is vegan would put in a lot of carbohydrates to help them to sustain. So one of the misconceptions is that the key to the ketogenic diet is eating a lot of fat, and it isn't. It's making sure that you're keeping your carbs low, and that there's fat available for the body to actually function. So when you're doing it for weight loss, you already have fat stores in your body. And what you ideally want to do is go ahead and let your body use the fat that it already has instead of adding additional fat into your diet, because you will see that you're going to plateau. And when you wonder why, it's because your body is using the fat that you're eating versus using the fat that is sitting on you. The other thing that people overdo is they overeat meat when they're on the diet. And one of the reasons is because it's low carb, right? So if I could get no carb meat and cheese, then people think, oh, okay, I could eat meat and cheese. It's going to keep me satisfied. I'm not going to be hungry. And I'm still within the ketogenic diet. Okay, eating a lot of meat is automatically going to increase the amount of fat that you're eating. And one of the keys also is to keep the protein to a moderate point, right? So when you think about, most women can live off of less than 50 grams of protein a day in our diets. So you can get that from 8 ounces of steak across an entire day. So you don't have to go out and eat a whole lot of meat or a whole lot of other things to get exactly what you need. you just need to make sure that you're getting enough protein into your body. And like I said, that doesn't mean that you have to eat a lot of meat. You can still keep that to a normal portion size, which, you know, most people say focus on the palm of your hand, right? So if you focus on the palm of your hand and you ate 2 servings of protein, like a lean meat, a day, you would likely still get your protein needs in. So just let that sink in terms of thinking about how to follow the ketogenic lifestyle. I'm going to switch for a minute to another concept that Dr. Berg often discusses, and this is a concept that a lot of other sciences are raving about because it's known to increase health and also increase longevity, and that's intermittent fasting, or IF. And a lot of people talk about intermittent fasting in conjunction with the ketogenic diet. And if you haven't heard of IF, it's simply a pattern of eating. It's not a diet. It's just a pattern of eating. And the pattern is designed to give your body a prolonged period of fasting. So the most typical pattern, and there are a lot of different patterns that, I mean, really extreme people, they do a pattern of fasting 20 hours a day and then just eating 4 hours out of the day. I think the easiest and the most frequent pattern for people who are just entering into IF is to do a 16-8 pattern. And so that means that you would fast for 16 hours and then eat 8 hours out of the day. And you could do that on any schedule, but the most common schedule I see is where people eat between noon and 8 p.m. They stop eating at 8 p.m. and then they don't eat again until noon the next day. And that doesn't mean that between noon and 8 you just eat throughout that entire time. Ideally, you would go ahead and just break your eating into 2 meals. So you may have a meal at noon and then a meal right before 8 o'clock, and then that would be all you're eating for the day. So if you had 2 ketogenic meals, one at noon and let's say one at 7, and that would be all you eat, and then between meals you would not snack. You may sip on tea. You don't want to put any sweetener in the tea, but you could have tea or you could have black coffee throughout that period. If that's just too strenuous for you, then during that time period from 12 to 8, you could also have like half and half in your coffee with an artificial sweetener. I don't recommend an artificial sweetener, but I am one of those people that I still haven't been able to kick it. So stevia is often suggested. I use stevia, but I still, in my mind, haven't decided if that's the best thing, but I do use stevia, and it's what I would recommend. So during that 12 to 8 period, you, like I said, if you wanted to really supercharge a ketogenic diet, then think of keto in the way that I just talked about it. Less about high fat and less about just being able to eat as much, meat or cheese or anything like that you want. But think about it more in the terms of getting the amount of protein in your body that you need to sustain, and eliminating other things. So I often encourage clients I always encourage everyone to partner with your doctor, particularly if you have health issues. It's good to partner with your physician when you're changing your diet. But please don't talk to your doctor and say, I'm going keto, and expect for them to be on board, because they likely won't be on board just based on the way that it's being conveyed to them. But if you explain to them what you're doing, which is what I recommend, is that you're cutting refined carbs, right? You are making leafy green and other non-starchy vegetables the bulk of what you eat. And if you're not vegan, then you're eating some meat, and I said some meat. You're drinking coffee, tea, and water. And let them know that if keto is not going to be a lifestyle for you after you finished your weight loss, then after you get to a certain point or you get to your goal, then you're going to slowly bring back more fruits into your diet. So you don't need to eliminate all fruits while you're keto, because you are going to get some carbs in. But for people who have a hard time really understanding how to get into ketosis, I always recommend that for the first 3 to 5 days, just don't eat any carbs, because 9 times out of 10, you are going to get some carbs in there. And then that helps you get into ketosis. And then at that point, you may add in, like a few berries in a green shake with like coconut water or something to that extent. So again, if you're talking to your doctor, and what I would recommend to you is that you're really just cutting your refined carbs. You're going through an induction period where you're not eating any carbs at all, but the bulk of what you're eating is healthy vegetables, predominantly leafy greens with some meat, and over time you're going to add your fruits back in. So those are my thoughts on the keto diet. As usual, if you have more questions for me, I would love to answer them. So you can put them below or email me, however you want to get questions to me. I realize now that a lot of people are shy about putting comments in the bottom. So if you want to email me a question, I will still answer it. And I know that these concepts can sometimes be very difficult, but once you get the hang of it and once you get a pattern for eating, you will be on your way. And keto it's a very, most people react very quickly to it, and you could see quick weight loss. It's just a question of whether or not it's for you. If it's not, there are other diets out there that you could try. So again, ask me any questions that you may have, and that's it. All right. Looking forward to talking to you. Good luck on your journey. I did try keto for a week recently, just because I wanted to know what that experience would be for me, just so that I could help other people as they have questions. So anything you want to know, you can ask me. If it's about, recipes or what to eat or any of that, just let me know. So I'm rambling at this point. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.